Okay, I'm calling the meeting to order, and let's start with the roll call.
Miss Cooper Payton. Here. Miss Harrell. Miss Hetland.
Present.
Mr. Jacobson is excused. Miss Jones is excused. Miss Orcherton.
Present.
Mr. Patterson.
Here.
Miss Salmon.
Here?
And Miss Snyder.
Here.
Okay. I don't believe we have any changes to the agenda, so next would be approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. Did anybody have any changes or questions? If not, I move that we approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. No public input, so we're going to go ahead with the grant presentation by Patricia Leon and Gonzalo Pinilla. Pinilla.
Nice to meet you.
Hello.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Patricia Leon. I'm from Colombia. I am an artist. I am a photographer.
My name is Gonzalo Pinilla. I am a printmaker and student of second year PhD art history and Latin American art history at the University of Illinois. So our presentation will be, we have a little a PowerPoint, and then we have a video that we want to share with you about our project, as well as a Tumblr page. Yeah, that's basically what we have. And while we are presenting some slides from the workshop we did, so we will be talking about our project.
The project Sharing Memories, The Mirror, began with a shared idea of community engagement and participation, providing at the same time a document that witnessed the integration of the Latino community into the social and cultural history of this region. The project was a turning point in our artists and pedagogical practices, demanding from us and from the participants a lot of extra time beyond family environment and effort, and establishing a rigorous routine that would go on become an essential part of our life. The project stretched beyond the experience of teaching photography and print to the members of the Latino community. We wholeheartedly believe that building integrated communities that reflect new social realities provide spaces for dialogue about locality, belonging, cultural, and community. We also believe that through the development of this project, we have helped to integrate the arts within the city of Urbana, creating a sense of place with the purpose of promoting art and culture while helping foster the emergence of new artists who strive to preserve their cultural tradition and represent diversity and equal opportunities.
So these are some of the material that we were using for the project, for publishing the project at the beginning, and then flyer for showing the schedule for the workshops. We did a total of 25 workshops, 75 hours of just real work in the print and the photography studio. The photography studio was installed in the St. Mary's Church, and the print studio was at the School of Art and Design. We were using the facilities there. So we have also some funding from the Center for Latin American and Caribbean Studies. They were helping us with the printing of the flyers and also publishing our workshop. We have so we have in total 30 participants from 7 different countries in Latin America. As the project goals was integrating the stories of these the people living here in the Urbana-Champaign area, and sharing with them our experience as we in our original country, Colombia. We are art professors and practicing artists. So we wanted to share that with them and provide them with a space, with the material resources, and with technical assistance for them to create some images, some artworks for showing their memories of the places they came from. So this is the two main the spaces we were working on was as I was saying, the Seminary Church in Urbana, and then the School of Art and Design. And the first workshop that the first series of workshops were based on photography, and the main goal for the workshop included
that include what is the photography, the language of photography, the own language of each person about photography, techniques of photography, how to operate a camera, how to develop photography field or enlarge and develop on paper, photo paper, what's a photogram, what is, and how to create it, how to colorful by hand, black and white photography. That was very extended. All the workshop, photography workshop. We did a lot, and was a good experience for all the participants because they never thought about thinking about the history of photography too, because we try to involve history and all the process in the darkroom and inside the darkroom and outside in the landscape, and even they carry cameras that we provided for them, disposable cameras, to go inside their house, their home, their family, to share us everything inside their environment.
So we have a very basic space for working, where we have we have to cover the window and create a dark room there. We have an enlarger and
only one enlarger.
One enlarger, and we were
work with.
creating. Yeah, we were doing also like very basic cameras with these
They create
containers.
cameras, and they took picture with that cameras too, and like pinhole cameras, and they create a camera view too, and then they develop take picture with the camera field with the disposable cameras, and they then develop the film, and then they learn to develop on paper. So we cover all the necessities about photography, even history of photography. So it was amazing talking and sharing all these kind of things with the participants, because only they thought that a photography is only click and no more, but there are more things beyond that. Yes.
So, and the idea also was connecting photography with print. So that's kind of the first step was creating a series of images, and then having the participants to manipulate the images and learn like other processes like printing. We were focusing on screen printing, so translating the image into negatives, and I was teaching the print workshops, and so I was showing them how to use Photoshop, because we were scanning the original prints that they were doing with enlarger. So the whole process, like going back and forth from the creation of the image to the manipulation of the images and being able to reproduce the image through printmaking. So yeah, so we were doing Photoshop. We were doing showing them how to use the screen to print, and yeah, and at the end yeah, like here, for example, I am showing them how the negative has to be exposed and using the screen. And then we have like the final part of the project included the production of little books that became like albums for the idea was for them to create a kind of a narrative or personal stories about
Recollecting
yeah
pictures and recollecting memories of their own life. Yes.
and then yeah like the books, the actual books are right now in the Independent Media Center where we are doing the exhibition, so we have some images about that. So the books were we were using recycled material from the ink lab at the School of Art and Design, like paper and films, like pieces of films, like trying to use those kind of material, very basic material, but trying to use them all and in order just to complete our ideas with the generous funding that you provide us.
Yes. The grant funds were used for materials such as photographic films, developers, photographic paper, disposable cameras, T-shirts, tote bags for prints, inks, paintings, food and snacks for participants. Funds were used for fuel, for transportation of materials and artists, as well as for 8 months of 2 organized professional service teaching photography and print workshops for the Latino community until the project completion.
So this is the poster for the exhibition. The opening of the exhibition was last Friday. We wanted to do that before the end of the cycle of the grants, but unfortunately we were not able because we were scheduling less workshops, but it was impossible to have all the pieces completed in the timeline that we have scheduled before, so we were extending a little. So that's why like 25 workshops sounds like a lot, but the original idea was having like 15 workshops or something like that, but
people asked for
people
more.
were asking
more.
us
Yes,
doing
more.
more and more and more.
And also finish the exhibition, they say, "Oh, we are we going to study more or no?" I'm sorry. Yes. Anyway.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, yeah. Those are like some shots of the workshop, and those are the books we were talking about. Some of the
And the
books
exhibition.
that include the like the original photographs and also prints and yeah, we are doing all of them, and we were doing binding and creating the covers for the books and
All the process
all
to
the
create a
process.
book.
Yes. So yeah, those are, and here is also included the video that we wanted to show a little bit of the video. It's 7 minutes video, so we produce a video for one of the participants is a videographer from Cuba, and he was helping us with this, doing a little interviews and some shots of the process also,
Yes.
because it's kind of also a way to share the memory of the project is also the video that will be part of the is part of the report also. So yeah, some shots of the exhibitions space. So the exhibition is still up. If you want, you have some time for going to the Independent Media Center. The original setting for the exhibition is a little
Yes,
moves a
it
little
changed a
because the
little.
panels
Yes,
they have
because
to.
they have another activity, so they
So-
move a little the panels. So it's a little different from here. So we are going to show you the video.
Yeah, but before that, again, we wanted to thank you the opportunity because is for us it's very important to keep contact with our Latino community because our families and our friends. So this is we consider this is like the ideal space for sharing not only our professional life and our daily the space and time that we have here, but also
The community of Urbana and also the Champaign, because in some case the Champaign too related, I don't know, but some people come from Champaign too, and also the church help us in the St. Mary Church. So it was so great to see all this community together, working together, making all this process was amazing to see all memories that we recollect and we recreate in that books and in all the pictures that you, if it's possible, that you go to see there. It's very nice to see that and to share with all the community of Urbana. So this is the video.
En México, entonces fue una memoria de México en la sala de mi abuelita. Entonces también tengo otra con mi hermana y tengo a mi hermano una foto que le tomé que siempre está en tu celular, pero básicamente memorias de casa y más con mi hermano.
Es la imagen de la familia, de mi esposo y mi hija, y aquí es donde comienza pues mi familia, mi propia familia, con mi esposo, pues mi hija. Entonces,
Una vez que fui a Mendoza a estar con ellos, ahí sacamos esta foto todos juntos. Pepe, mi esposo y mi hija no están porque viajé yo sola esa vez a Mendoza.
Como yo tomé una fotografía de mi hermano que él ya falleció y la tenía yo ahí, pues la imprimimos. Pero la quiero imprimir en una camiseta para regalársela a mi mamá porque pues, es su hijo que ya falleció.
el proyecto Sharing Memories surge de esa necesidad de la gente latina de tener un espacio que sea un espacio de interacción, pero que también sea un espacio donde ellos puedan traer de nuevo esos valores y esas cualidades que ellos tienen y los materialicen a través de obras o imágenes que ellos quieran representar.
Entonces básicamente el tema de todo esto pues son memorias, tomas foto de algo que pasa, no pasa usualmente. Por ejemplo, le tomas foto a un papá cocinando, cuando está haciendo sus cosas que hace a diario, está en la computadora, cosas así que pasan que quieres tener la memoria en una foto.
En Iowa fue el primer proyecto y luego lo propusimos acá para la ciudad de Urbana. Afortunadamente el Urbana Grants apoyó el proyecto junto con la Universidad de Illinois.
Ha sido un curso muy amplio, donde hemos aprendido mucho y muy variado, sobre todo el arte de la fotografía y de la impresión.
tipos de cámaras que había, diferentes tipos que se usaban tiempo atrás y la forma de cómo tomar una foto correctamente.
Utilizamos cámaras para tomar como 24 o 25 fotos, recuerdo. Las revelamos nosotros mismos, doña Pati nos enseñó el proceso de cómo hacerlo.
Con Gonzalo he aprendido lo que es el estampado de la fotografía en papel como un método antiguo, artesanal, y donde hemos estampado las fotos familiares, las fotos de las cosas que hemos vivido acá.
Yo era considerado por mi familia el peor fotógrafo de la historia, pues yo siempre le echaba la culpa que era la cámara, que era el fondo del medio.
Después, pues ahora las pusimos en las mallas, estamos haciendo camisetas. También un libro, me gustó. El libro con tus propias fotos. Habían participantes de Chile, de Argentina, de Cuba, de Perú, México, obviamente, de Venezuela, Costa Rica y Puerto Rico. Y como son de diferentes países, pues hasta aprende uno palabras, nos platicamos de cómo es el lugar de donde vive, de los planes que tenemos para el futuro.
Ver de salir de nuestras islas que son para otros países, entender la cultura del otro, entonces nosotros hemos sentido que hemos absorbido cultura de otros países.
Es una forma nueva de conocer personas, o sea, sabes de dónde son y empiezas a convivir mucho con ellos. como una amistad más o a veces sientes que es como más que una amistad, o sea, como de tanto que convives con ellos.
Todos como una familia, ellos nos han ayudado en todo.
De distintos lugares, de distintos países, de distintas edades. De que una niña hay una clase, o sea, entonces ha sido muy enriquecedor.
Que es una familia casi a la que llegamos y compartimos nuestras experiencias, y ellos también empiezan a compartir las experiencias que tienen de sus historias y todo.
Igual de intercambio digamos, de cultura, ¿no? De sabiduría, de dichos, de refranes, todas estas cosas que son tan bonitas de nuestra cultura.
Patricia y Gonzalo nos ha salido de la zona de confort, tanto técnicamente como culturalmente, y nos ha permitido que este intercambio fluya y que podamos no solamente intercambiar, pero que sea también con respeto, de no imponer nuestra forma de ver las cosas, y eso ha sido primordial para el éxito de este taller.
Finally, we have, just to conclude, so we are, the Center for Latin American Studies generously is contributing us with publishing a book about the project. This is the model we are creating. I don't know if you want to, I can circulate it through the...
That'd be great.
It's the idea of the book. It's the text is not ready, so it's
right.
Yeah.
So because the text would be part of the interviews we have for the participants, and we are having a foreword from the director of the Center for Latin American Studies, and also somebody from the city council. We don't know who's gonna do that, because
If it's possible.
it's possible. Yeah, we are just thinking about that.
Yeah.
Just
because you are part of this project.
Yeah,
Well, thank
obviously. So the book is will be released in maybe at the end of May, because we have to transcribe the interview, because we have more recordings. So this is part of the maybe 2 hours of recording. So that the video is a short version of the material we have. So will be transcribing the interviews and also translating them, because the book will be bilingual. Mm-hmm.
Good, very good. Well, this was a very successful project. I'm very pleased that you did it. And does anybody have comments or questions for us? Go ahead.
Is this video available online at all?
We sharing by Facebook.
Okay.
It's Facebook, yeah. So we have a link with Urbana, I think. Yes, by Facebook.
Would you want to put it on YouTube as well? Or?
Maybe we were trying to do that in Vimeo, but it was too heavy. Like the
So, but trying to fix it.
We have to pay for extra space for. So, but we wanted to show you.
We create a Tumblr that record every weekend all the workshops.
Okay.
So that's it.
But it's not. You can keep talking. So the video this yeah, I don't know what
Sorry.
activated before, but
yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah, I actually don't know what it is.
No.
To do it old fashioned.
Oh.
Is that right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
the- This is the Tumblr. So if you go to archive, you can see all the workshops with the dates since the beginning.
By date.
Yes.
So Patricia was using her skills as a photographer for recording of the, the process of the.
And I love it. So you can see it since the beginning, May 2016, when we get the letter that we were
Awarded
awarded.
the grant.
And then we start with the design of all the material, print materials to share and to collect the people, you know. And then this is the workshops. This is September, and this is October, November, December, February. And as you can see, there are the people sometimes appear in that workshop and or disappear and then appear again. And that's the way that we did all this. Yes.
That's the Latino way also.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you want, here is the
flyer and
the flyer, and in the flyer is I provide to Morgan this information, so you can go to these links
Good.
and
Great. Thank
see
you.
all
Very good.
the
But we
project.
can share with you that too.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm
I have a
sorry.
quick question.
Just one question.
My husband has always had a love for photography. In every place we've ever lived, he's built a dark room. And finally, when digital cameras came out, he got rid of all his equipment. The room is still there, but what is the interest? Is there a resurgence in printmaking and using dark enlargers and actually making an image from the films? What kind of interest is there now?
Well, it's because analog photography sometimes it's not used at all now.
Right, yeah.
because of everything is digital. So we try to recover that things in some way, and trying to teach to the people how to use it is very important. And with Gonzalo, with his expertise in silkscreen, so we try to put together all the techniques and to becoming a book. Yeah, so it's nice to see that the photograph and the silkscreen is a resource that you can make any kind of print material, like a teacher, like a tote bags, like a poster, that kind of thing. That's something useful.
So, but the idea is also to work with very basic techniques, like doing the whole process, not like having digital and send the file to be printed in a
But with
I don't know.
hands. Yeah, that's
So doing all the process and to see that.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
You thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for,
you again.
for this opportunity.
And we'll see you next year,
Yes,
because
yes,
we will do
hopefully.
in a different project this year too.
Great. Very good.
Thank you again. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Okay, next we're going to have the monthly progress report.
So just close it. Oh, it's just
Good afternoon.
Hi, Morgan.
Hello. Okay. Okay, so to get started, Artists of the Corridor began in March or the end of March with Rusty Clevengers. He presented art made from his third grade students and then other teachers' third grade students, production of The Wizard of Oz. On March 31st, he had 2 groups of students come in and come and look at their art hung up on the walls. And then, as you can see, they also had a little question and answer session with Mayor Pressing, which is really cute. They're asking like a whole bunch of questions. The opening reception for Rusty Clevenger will be April 28th, Friday, from 5 to 6:30 p.m. And I'm still in the process of coordinating that because he also wants to have a viewing in here while the exhibition is going on out there of the fashion show that they had once they designed their artwork. For Art Now, Gwen Montgomery has her printmaking, and the episode aired at the beginning of April and is currently up on YouTube right now. And this are some of her prints. The Urbana Sculpture Project, the guide is still available online, and I also have a lot of copies of the postcards if anybody would like some of those or knows anybody that would like some more of the sculpture postcards.
Just a quick note on Art Now and the Artist of the Corridor is that we're currently looking for recommendations for artists for either of those programs, so please email me or Morgan if you have suggestions.
You got the ones I sent?
Yeah, I got some from you, and I guess that goes for our at-home viewers as well.
The Artist of the Corridor needs to be an Urbana artist, but Art Now can be from the artist can be from anywhere, so, I mean, in the area, local. Yeah.
Open Scene has been going really well. 3 artists have held weekend intensives at the IMC. That includes Derek Lindsay, Andrea Perkins, and then Mother Nature. The final Open Scene artist workshop will be this upcoming weekend, and it'll feature Hill Ill Waters and Lisa Faye. The events will be Friday, April 14th from 6 to 8 p.m., and then April 16th, Sunday, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And then this is the final artist workshop, so if you have not been to one yet, I strongly recommend that you go. They're really, really entertaining and very informative as well.
How has the turnout been for these programs? I'm sorry, I've been performing and out of town every time they happen. What's the turnout like?
It's pretty good.
Good response?
Yeah, we have like a lot of youth participants and young adult stakeholders coming in and participating with the artists, which is really nice. Okay. The above picture, the one on the top left is Derek Lindsay, and then the bottom left is Andrea Perkins. So the Boneyards, Urbana Celebrates the Boneyard was this past weekend, and it went very well. I have like a few slides of pictures from the event. We had fish painting, a performance by the C4A Children's Choir, and walking marionettes with Ann Newman, as well as an event called Who Are You with a collaboration with Community Choices. Oh, and Los Guapos. Thank you. Those are the fish prints at the bottom right, and then you can see Joyful Bubbles. The event, or the picture on the lower left, is the Who Are You event with Community Center, or Community Choices, I'm sorry. And then here are some more pictures from that day. It was really sunny and really warm, so we lucked out making sure that everybody was comfortable there. For the children who had their art chosen to be hung up, we're going to have a ribbon cutting ceremony for them. Events will be coming soon. And then this is some wayfinding art by David Michael Moore. These were hung up for the Boneyard to kind of direct traffic over there.
Well, they will be hung up soon.
Oh, sorry.
And so special thanks to Libby Horwitz, who did a lot of the core organizing for the Boneyard Creek celebration that took place this weekend. So thank you, Libby, and Morgan as well.
Thank you.
And yeah, these banners are replacing some of the existing ones, and one of the goals was to not only make it artful and to reflect the park and the art that's integrated in the park, as the springtail there shows, but also to encourage more people to stop and visit that attraction, which isn't terribly visible from the road. Actually, do we have the other banners to show to folks too? So there's another set of banners that we conducted a call for student artists to contribute, and they've actually been printed, so we'll pass them around. But these are if you recall, we had student artwork put up last year, and this will just be replacing that.
Right.
And then we'll be holding a ribbon cutting as well. I don't know if you're going to announce that later or not, but we'll send the date out when we have all the details finalized to honor the artists themselves if they're able to come out.
For Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Facebook saw an increase of 62 likes, Twitter an increase of 22 followers, Instagram an increase of 35 followers, and then this is the Art Now ad for Gwen Montgomery's Art Now episode, and then this was the flyer that we used for Urbana Celebrates the Boneyard, and then a cute little meme for promoting it. And then the announcement ceremony, or celebration, I should say, for the recipients of this year's grant will be held on Friday, April 21st, from 5 to 7. And then, a full list of recipients for this year's grant cycle is available now on the city website, urbanaillinois.us/artsgrants. And the city's Public Service Commission has approved 27 candidates for further consideration in the hiring process for the Public Arts Coordinating position.
Okay, I think that's it for the progress report. So next we're moving on to a discussion of murals and glass.
Yes. So as part of this year's cycle, I went to inspect all of the, or majority of the murals that we have up. So we have one in the city of the Civic Center, as well as the UBA, our Urbana Business Association. This is called Arliss Morning by Phil Strange. I took photos to kind of see the condition of each. So as you can see, the conditions are still in really good shape. I didn't find any tearing or any smudges. From what I could tell, no fading or anything like that. And then this one is Abe in the Grass by Larry Steinbauer. And then I went up to the second floor and took pictures from inside to see and make sure that there wasn't any damages like that. This is the one up in the Civic Center, and like the other ones, they're still in like really good condition. And then this one, one of them is Summer by Jill Miller, and then the other one is Fall Energy 6 by Rosalind Feynman Weinberg.
So the oldest mural on glass in there is the Abraham Lincoln one, and that one's been up for 4 years. So when we started this program, Christina McClellan was public arts coordinator, and we didn't really know how long these applications would, retain their good looks, and it appears that 4 years and going seems to be okay, and that image of Lincoln has become relatively iconic, I think, for our downtown, and it's generally pretty well supported. So staff is looking for some feedback from the commission on how you'd like us to proceed with the Murals on Glass call this year. We have the ability to potentially explore a few other public building sites The most prominent one we can think of, but we haven't really gone through the motions to try to see if it's going to be acceptable, would be the upper story glass window of the city building here, facing Lincoln Square. But beyond that, most of our most prominent structures downtown with big glass windows are kind of utilized at this time. So we would be removing we could either remove the murals, but we do know they are durable and can last longer, all of them, including the oldest one that's up. When we have done some of that in years past. Another option of public use of windows would be to contact MTD to see if they'd be interested in allowing us to apply some of these to the bus stop windows in the downtown area. The other option that we've thrown around is that we would have the option of perhaps contacting some downtown private property owners to see if they would like to put some of these displays up. We would expect that retailers or other businesses that, you know, it's important you can look in, aren't going to be as excited about these potentially law offices on the first floor. And also there's plenty of second-story windows that are very nicely visible in our downtown. But in order to facilitate that, we would be seeking to utilize the funds budgeted for this as matching funds for the call. So it's kind of, I think it would be juried similar to how a Public Art League does it for sculptures, right? We would accept applications, they would be juried, and then private businesses could come and sort of bid on the ones that they want to apply, pick them out for their properties, work with the artist to size them and fit them in the windows, and then the city would pay for the production cost. And we were thinking, in order to encourage participation, we might even want to go as high as, say, an 80% match to a 20% sponsorship by the businesses. And if we overshot and we get too much interest, then we seek to curtail that in future years. So I'm just looking for feedback at this time on what your thoughts are. We wouldn't necessarily have a lot of time to get a good call out, but to private businesses. But
I've got one question about the bus stop windows. Are they smaller? And in that case, could we have more than, I mean, would that allow us to purchase more than larger windows? You know what I'm saying? Could we get two for the price of one?
I'm not really sure how the costing breaks out, if there's a minimum cost per, so I guess we'd have to look into that a little more.
Okay, I'd appreciate it if we do that. And Brandon had talked to me about this a little bit, so two issues that I saw with this were, when I originally came up with the idea for this, and I was thinking that we would change them every couple of years because people would get, basically after a while you don't see anything that's there all the time. You know, it becomes part of the landscape and you just don't see it anymore. So that's one issue. I'm not saying we should or shouldn't do this, but I'm just saying, to me, that's one thing we should consider. The other thing is just I'm a little worried about the second-story windows because I'm sure first floor I'm sure people will see, but second story I would have to. I don't feel confident that people would necessarily see it the way they do on the first floor. So, and if anybody else has other issues that they've thought of, please go ahead and bring them up.
Well, in light of that, this is basically a second floor. It's above the street.
Yeah, but it's very large and it's kind of angled and righted. I mean, you can't miss it because it's at a stoplight.
So how big?
You know.
How big is the second floor here?
Oh, this
in
one I'm not
comparison?
too worried about. This one I'm pretty sure everybody would see.
Especially
Because
from
it's,
across
you know,
the way.
it's a two-story window, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I'm not too worried about.
We're not worried about competition between the sculpture next door. The two sculptures.
Oh, well,
and the,
that's a
and the- and the
possibility,
light,
yeah.
you know.
That is a possibility.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Would
Yeah.
it be too much in one space, or would it make more people come look at it? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question.
But I'm glad you mentioned it because I was trying to remember what was the original agreement once they went up. How long were they supposed to last?
I think
mean,
the
that was what was
original
the agreement.
thought was that they would be changed every 2 years. But
Yeah.
then when the 2 years passed, you know, everybody loved the Lincoln, and so we said, okay, great. And then we did change some of the others. In fact, I think last cycle we did change the one at UBA and the one that's on the other side of the parking lot.
Yeah.
So.
I just couldn't remember what the agreement was
Yeah.
without looking it up.
Well, I don't know if it was an agreement so much as just That's
mine
how we
are-
set it
are
up originally.
yeah.
That doesn't mean we have to leave it that way.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah, originally I think it was supposed to just be 2 years, and it was to or to just alternate with the
yeah.
the
Well,
sculpture
also
cycle.
the idea, I think, of
Yeah.
having maybe more and different artists,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
have their work up too. So, anybody have any
I
thoughts?
have a
opinions?
question. I'm not familiar with the application of this. Is it the sort of thing where if you removed it, it's done, or you can, okay.
Yeah, it's a one-time application. It's basically the exact same material that's being used for a bus wrap. So an MTD has the, bike Champaign-Urbana application all across it, this whole side of the bus, including the windows. If you sit on the seat, you can really get a good look at it. Also, the UVA office downtown is a really easy one to go in and inspect. They're friendly. Just walk on in, and you can see. And if you could switch to the back side of this, Morgan, of the Lincoln. I mean, as you can see, it's really kind of striking visually when you look from the inside of one of these. It's not even apparent that there's an application there.
Yeah.
So it really does a pretty nice job, and potentially some office users might actually like the little bit of reduction of lighting, and UVA likes it because it's not quite as awkward as
Having people staring
The
in your
fish
window
bowl.
all
yeah.
the time.
Well, I guess you worked at the office when this was going on. People would stare right at the window, and they wouldn't even know though that you were there. They weren't staring at you, right? So
Yeah, people would just like check themselves out in the window. And they couldn't see us, so it was
Oh
a nice,
my.
break from that.
Yeah.
So to weigh in on your thought about the second story, I think that if you think about like the Cohen Building or something that's on the corner, maybe the second story could work. But I mean, I hear your point about people would really have to be looking up and paying attention to see it.
Right. Pedestrians might see it, but people driving by probably not.
Well, there's some legal problems about that too, because you don't want to cause a distraction to drivers.
Well, that could be said about any of these.
I know. But I remember when they were building the Pines at Windsor Road and Filer Road, and there was all this discussion about should they put up the digital billboards that were going on, and whether that was going to cause a traffic accident because people would be watching that instead. I mean, those discussions do come up from time to time.
Right.
Yeah.
Although
Whether
with
it would
digital,
involve these
it's
or not.
changing all the time,
Yeah.
whereas these are static.
yeah, as static images, they won't invoke those rules. But
Yeah.
but if we did ever want to have a animated signs for art, yeah, we would probably be subject to the same
Yeah.
rules as digital billboards.
Right.
Well, I know the city of Danville and aren't there some area cities where they have these old designs on the side of the buildings, and they are iconic, and they want they draw people into the community. So I guess sometimes we'll have to weigh the value of each one of these when we decide to keep it or not, as you were mentioning
Mhm.
before.
Yeah. I
Kind
mean,
of
certainly the Lincoln one, I think, will stay there.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's there,
Yeah.
But the others, I think, are up for discussion. So.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to clarify, that it sounds like the feeling is that we would want Lincoln to stay.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the consensus.
Well, I don't know. Is it?
Oh, I don't know.
I
Have
mean,
you
does anybody
got-
else here have a different opinion? Feel free.
Oh, I don't necessarily have an opinion about it, but I was curious, like, are people who work downtown, like, have you gotten that feedback that they really like that, and
Yes,
kind of
Brandon.
maybe tell us about that?
Yeah, I mean, I can't. I guess normally folks are not hesitant to complain if they don't like something. So
Really?
I can say we certainly haven't heard any complaints, and in general, I think it's a point of reference in our downtown.
Well, and
I
it's
think it's
across from
referred to.
courthouse. And,
Do we get final say? Oh, sorry.
We could also, if we're going to be doing a call, we could keep that as a Lincoln-themed area and ask for someone with other art in that genre if we want, or from the same person if we really want to stay in that same theme. Or put it back up if people complain about the new one. So it's an
No, that
option
could get
too.
expensive.
It could be, yeah.
Do we get the final say in that decision, or does city council weigh in this too?
No, council won't. I think it's just handled administratively, so we're just looking for input. I mean, our general, response as interim staff running the public arts program in the absence of a coordinator is that we're generally not trying to reinvent the wheel or, engage in any big changes to the way the programs are run. But with this program, if we just kind of did the status quo of removal and reapplication, it just raised some questions for us because we haven't done this enough
It's the first time.
that there's a real strong, consistent, we always remove it, or I think in successive years we've really just sort of added to the total collection of what's out there on the windows, but we're kind of running out of city windows, so we just didn't have a clear, rhythm to how this program's being administered to just follow. So we want to put up as many as the budget will allow, and we're just looking for ideas.
Well, how much, we have enough money for 2, is that correct?
That's generally what we do each year.
Yeah.
2 displays, and it's usually a multi-window display.
Yeah. So, anybody, I guess I should just ask, how does everybody feel about replacing versus just adding new ones versus replacing a couple of them, or one of them?
I mean, if there's new prominent spaces, it's kind of nice to just add to the landscape.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm curious, was there an intention in mind with this program that it be seen from cars or foot or any of the above, or?
I think any of the above.
Okay.
How about the front door out
And we
there?
only had 2, I think, when we started, so.
So it's just grown from there?
Yes.
A lot of people come in the door there. Maybe we should try the front door.
Why don't we put out a call and find out how many people would be interested, and then aim to add one and then think about the other one? Because it sounds like we'd have an easy space to add right now, or potentially easy space. And I don't know if we'll get a
once
whole
we
bunch
put-
of people to
We
apply.
just put out the call and,
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, it's,
Yeah, for this call it's accessible to a lot of folks because it's just a 2D image, and then sometimes we've had to take into consideration is the art sized in such a way that it's going to apply well to this given window, but we haven't really had. I don't think we've had a challenge in terms of response, but there is some logistics involved with measuring and pricing to make sure we're going to stay on budget for the applications. What I heard was that, well, Keep Lincoln, I heard that we should try to add to the city building here so we can kind of run that idea. We're not exactly sure who we have to ask to do that, but we'll do our best to get feedback from the city. What about the idea of MTD? If our goal is just to try to add to the collection of these murals this year, I think those are our best options, would be the city building and MTD, and we'll just see how many we can do. We would probably prioritize the bus shelters on Broadway, which are used the most frequently, Broadway and Elm Street.
Aren't there some on Philo Road, too? There may be some in the little outlying areas that are still part of the city proper?
Yeah, well, that's certainly true. This portion of the arts program is TIF funded, so
Yeah, so we need to keep it in this
in the
area, right?
downtown
Yeah.
area, yeah.
But
there
once they've been paid for and shown, for example, but if you wanted to give
yeah,
them another
once we've
life-
demonstrated it, maybe, and then again, for partnerships, if this is something that MTD values as well,
Yeah.
it is a little bit of a screening from the sun, too. I don't know if that's important for them. But there are also potential safety considerations that, we're going to need to get feedback from, because the ability to see into a bus shelter is that's part of the design of it.
Uh-huh.
So we don't really want to go against the
well, although we kind of took
goals
that
there.
into account with the safety in the parking lot too, because that's kind of why they're made the way they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that may not be a problem.
We wouldn't want it to become one either.
Mm-hmm.
No, no, certainly not.
Yeah.
So at this time, if the commission's okay with this, we're going to prioritize adding new murals and trying to find good locations for them. We have a few other places on the Civic Center we could pursue. And yeah, again, if you have other ideas, please feel free to email me or Morgan.
Okay.
Now that you've planted the seed, we might be all looking and see spaces we never thought of before.
Okay, if that's the end of that discussion, then I think we can move on to the Public Arts Commission visioning.
So I tried to distill, I think Morgan and I probably had like 8 pages of notes between the two of us of the Public Art Commission's conversation about visioning. And so this is just a snippet of our mission statement as a commission, but a city where artists thrive and are valued. And I felt that was largely what the conversation centered around, is what does that look like? And we had a really great icebreaker that Libby Horwitz led us in, and there was a lot of good conversations overall, but I tried to just keep it down to the core questions and just really try to compact it as much as possible. So, and these aren't I'm not going to go through all the questions we asked, but I tried to kind of aggregate some of the comments because there was a lot of overlap. What does a thriving local arts community look like was one of the key questions. And so the main bullets, and this is here for your discussion, and also I'm looking for feedback to think if you feel that this summary is sufficient documentation to hand off to the arts coordinator, because that's really sort of where this is heading. It's a documentation of for the commission itself, it's a documentation for the incoming coordinator, and it's a piece of the conversation that, or it's a starter for the conversation that we'll be having next year that'll be much more program specific, and not as strategic or high level. So art is evident and integrated in the community. That's what a thriving local arts community looks like. It's evident in conversations and the mentality of people. You can see it in events and places and institutions, and posters was one specific example that was given. That there's always something brewing. I think there was a comment that there was a feeling that there is something brewing in our local arts community right now, but that's what it looks like. The diversity of arts. We talked a lot about the diversity of practices and forms of art. Thriving local arts community is a place where community members are aware and engaged in the arts, that exposures may be unavoidable. And again, I'm paraphrasing. Some of these words might not have been exactly what folks said, but I was trying to capture the essence of multiple comments. That non-artists have access to the arts, that there's a network of arts organizations, including the Public Arts Commission, and in fact having a Public Arts Commission is an example of what it looks like to have a thriving local arts community. That there are strong interactions between audience and artists, and sometimes the line between the audience and artists isn't always clear. People have many opportunities to participate in the arts in a way that's right for them, the meeting them where they're at. Comment had been made. Art is it's being created, consumed, and shared in collaborative ways. It's not just that traditional audience-artist relationship, and that we're seeing a range of successful artists who are from full-time to hobbyists, or maybe just participating as enthusiastic audience members, or just playing the role of a benefactor. And lastly, artists are economically successful in a thriving local arts community. Art is being bought and sold in many different settings and commercial settings. Independent artists and art collectives thrive. So we're seeing that diversity of the entrepreneurial endeavors associated with arts, and that both public and private funds are being spent on the arts. And again, that was comments about private beneficiaries, commercial applications of art, but also the fact that our Public Arts Commission contributes public funds directly to the arts. So I guess I just want to open it up. That was my attempt at summarizing a very lengthy and multifaceted conversation, and I'd love your feedback on that. If you'd like, just have more you'd want to add, because I'm happy to. And I know both Jess and Erica weren't able to be present for our meeting, so.
I guess the question would be, is there anything missing? Is there something that you would have thought of that is not included here? I know you haven't had a lot of time to look at this, sorry.
I think it's really great what we have in these lists, but I was wondering about the exposure to the arts is unavoidable. I wondered if we could reword that slightly.
Yeah,
sure. Okay.
It's not the right word, yeah.
I actually love that, because
Really?
then it's like running into art no matter where you go, if you're like looking for it.
Maybe a different word.
I would put it in a more positive
all-encompassing
way, you know.
maybe, or,
Is
I
it,
don't know.
which word is exposure or unavoidable?
Both of those, you know, yeah.
It makes
Okay.
it sounds like it's a disease or something.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Something with accessibility, maybe, or
Yeah.
all-encompassing, I don't know. I have to think of a good synonym.
Okay.
Put a positive spin on it.
Yeah, I'll try.
Yeah. Get the thesaurus out.
Yeah, again, I don't think anybody used those exact words, but there was, I can't even remember the comments that led to that one, but
Yeah.
I think I was trying to take 2 or 3 and just sum them up.
Right.
Well, we want it to be a way of life, basically what we're saying,
Mhm.
right?
I agree.
Be a dull place without arts in the city.
All right, the others are not as detailed. How do you know when artists are being valued? So the question was, what does that look like? So the main bullets I tried to distill from the conversation were artists choose to stay here and can make a living, that public and private funds are being spent on art. Again, there's overlap on all these. A strong network of arts organizations exists and events are well attended. There's a local culture of artistic creation, consumption, and engagement. Access to arts opportunities is ensured through integration into schools, businesses, and the city, and business leaders seek out artists to collaborate.
Just as a point of feedback, I just want to say that I like the way, especially on the last slide, how you captured like the different economies that go on
Mhm.
with artists, public and private,
Mhm.
and different things that you captured there. I think that's really important.
Thanks.
I have a question about the bullet you say access to arts opportunities is ensured through integration into schools, businesses, and the city.
Mhm.
Do we want to include the word community? I mean, it kind of is implied, but
Mm-hmm. Oh, we could certainly add the word
businesses,
community.
the city, and community. I don't know. Is it too excessive? Or is it redundant?
You could even say integrated into our community in places like schools, businesses, and
There you go.
That's
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks.
There were a few comments by commission members about, valuing that, it's part of the city, and that this also got to access is the first word of the sentence. It got to access, and how do you achieve access, and integrating into existing services by
Mhm.
institutions is actually part of that. So, but I'll make the edit that was suggested.
Yeah, ensured in the community through.
Mhm.
That would do it.
Yep.
Okay. Morgan, could we go to the next slide, please? And I think this is the last one. So this one's more of a kind of a popcorn. What is the role of commission and its members? And in this case, I wasn't trying to really distill it down into just 3 things. I thought I would try to just offer you all a sampling of what I heard from that conversation as to what you felt was the role of commission and its members.
Yeah. This is Billy. Well, we'll just tell him.
Yeah.
We're looking
Got
at
a
his
typo for me?
spelling. We're trying to decide if there's a
Business
problem.
leaders.
Business
in the
rather
last
than
screen.
businesses leaders.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry, it's a curse of being an editor.
Any comments on the role of the commission and its members?
I think we covered everything. Is there anything we didn't cover?
Okay. So again, that visioning process is, normally we get a lot more detailed with programs, but this year, given the staff transition, we just took kind of an opportunity to step back, stretch, do more of a, an interactive experience for the commission members, and then just have a higher level visioning. And we're going to return to that later with our new coordinator when that occurs. And in addition, there were some comments about perhaps that the commission might be interested in having the new coordinator engage in a process of more community feedback. And so we can have that conversation once we have a new coordinator hired and talk about what the priorities of that process would be. For just a couple quick comments on, so at our next meeting, I'll present, and with everybody's help, Morgan's help in particular, to the annual report of the public arts program. And we will also present to you the budget, and this is the annual action item of the commission, is to recommend a budget to council for the coming fiscal year. And as I mentioned before, it already is intended to be a status quo budget, basically the same budget as last year, with murals and glass instead of sculptures.
Sculpture. Are we meeting prior to when we go to the council? Okay, good.
Probably on our next agenda, right? Or do we have to do it before the next meeting?
No, it would be at the next meeting.
That's what I thought.
And then
Yeah,
the
that's why I was asking.
Yeah.
community development will
About the
likely
time we always
present
do it.
later in May. So we'll just we'll present it at that time.
So you'll be sending in the packet
Mhm.
information about the
The
budget
full
and so on,
report,
so you
yeah.
can take a look
Because
at it
it's
before
a
the
lot
meeting.
to digest. It's basically a summary of all the year's public arts program updates that you've received, plus some budget numbers on what we actually spent on those programs. Yeah.
How many days in advance will we get it? Before the meeting?
Well, it should be the Friday packet.
Okay.
It's not a terribly long document.
It's not
Yeah,
really
we spent all
super
weekend
detailed.
working on
I
it.
Don't
mean,
faint, it's not
you know,
that bad.
there's a line for each of the major
Mhm.
program things that we do, that's all.
And a lot of it comes out like a table with a chart, so you can make comparisons by columns. It's not
Yeah.
that bad.
Mhm.
Yeah. Don't worry.
Take a deep breath, it's okay.
Okay. Well, did anybody have any announcements they wanted to make? Yeah.
I do. I just want to say thank you. I know there will be official thank you, but on behalf of the Champaign-Urbana Symphony, they were recipient of one of the Public Arts Commission's grants, and on the last 2 mornings at the Granite Center, the children's concerts took place, and we performed for 3,000 students within the region. They were free concerts, and as a matter of fact, Ann Newman, who was the puppeteer, she and her partner Mike O'Brien created puppets and presented Peter and the Wolf with the symphony. So we had a collaborative effort going on. So I just want to say thank you on behalf of the symphony.
Okay. I want to say on behalf of Barb, it's her birthday today, so we should
Oh.
wish her a happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a good one so far.
Okay, I'm now going to move that we adjourn. Can I have a second? We're done.
Thank you.
Thank you.